Hey everyone. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about spirituality and the role of belief in healing. So, I think we are all familiar with brain retraining and the cognitive aspects, the behavioral aspects, which in a lot of ways is very cerebral, very rational. We use the visualizations, but a lot of time those visualizations can start to feel kind of flat after a while because they're all focused on thought processes and very concrete examples, which is really great for that concept of neuro-linguistic programming and rehearsing behaviors and envisioning ourselves doing things. But I do feel like some of what's missing in some of these brain retraining programs is our belief system in something bigger and the ability to put our trust or our faith into healing. And I think underlying a lot of these programs that are working is our belief that they're going to work. And so I always say, as a clinician, having done graduate school and having, focused with a lot of work on doing, research and statistics and data, sometimes the placebo effect itself is so misaligned and talked negatively about. But what if placebo, as we call it, is actually magic, is actually this really cool thing that happens when you believe you're going to get better, and so you do. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about today about what we call a placebo effect and have come up with a negative connotation around that. And what if in fact that belief of healing is one of the strongest components of brain retraining, more so than the visualizations, the cognitions, understanding the limbic system? What if just that pure belief that it's going to help us is part of what helps us to get better in the long run? So I want to start with thinking about even just the fundamentals of what got you into brain retraining. And part of that probably started with hearing about that somewhere, usually through another person, a healing group, a support group. And you start to think, if it worked for them, could it work for me? So it's sparking that element of, nothing else has worked, I'm feeling hopeless. And it's that spark of belief of, could this work? It looks like this might work. And I start to believe that there's a possibility of healing. And how powerful is belief, right? And so again, what's underlying that? And I am not going to share, my own spiritual journey. I think that there's so many different ways to incorporate spirituality into your everyday life. I don't want to, pick one and say it's the right way and then scare away someone else who might have their own journey that's really healing for them. But whatever that is, and I like to always narrow it down to, evidence-based. We talk about nature, ecotherapy, eco-psychology. No matter what belief system you have, whether it's traditional, Judeo-Christian values or more, New Age or pagan values, whatever that might be, I think we can all come back to the idea that nature and the earth and all these wonderful plants and trees and our food that we eat and the air that we breathe and the water that sustains us is given to us by some higher power. It was created somehow and it's here, and it's just magical that it keeps us alive and sustained. So I like to use nature as kind of the overarching example of how to connect to spirit. And so that's where I think a lot of our visualizations, if we shift from just, oh, I see myself back at work or going on this specific trip or doing things that feel a little flat because they're just purely physical, rational goals, and we can shift ourselves every day into more of a nature connection, a spiritual connection, a deeper meaning, a deeper purpose, and an energetic connection that will serve us a little bit more than staying rational and cerebral and in that one side of our brain. Now we're opening up to spirit. We're opening up to where is that vital spark of energy that exists somewhere within me that is more than just my brain chemistry, my neurons, my physicality, my symptoms, whatever disease or pain or illness I'm trying to heal from. And is there something deeper in me that animates me, that is all around me, that gives life to the universe? And then we start to also bring that into daily habits and rituals. So if I believe that some of that energy, that vitality, that strength, and that healing is coming from nature and is coming from my surroundings, that helps motivate me more, even just if I'm bedridden. That motivates me more to envision nature. That motivates me to maybe sit my chair next to the window where I can see the sunshine and breathe the fresh air and see nature, rather than staying in this very small, depressing world of just our screens and social media and all these things that don't really have life and meaning to them. And we can even take that a step further with our visualizations and start to really visualize, I am sitting in nature and I feel the healing power of nature and the sunshine coming in and bringing me life and vitality. And I'm choosing to eat today something that is a living whole food that is giving me healing and energy and vitality. And I picture myself as I walk through nature and hear the birds and see the sunshine and feel the warmth of the sunshine and feel the wind on my skin, and I feel the grounding of the earth, envisioning the actual vital energy around us that is coming in, through our senses. And if we can really bring that into our visualizations, I think it brings the visualizations from truly just cognitive side of our brain to a full embodied experience. And I think, again, that's part of what I want to bring more into our brain retraining community here, is this idea of holistic brain retraining. As a holistic therapist, I dabble in that so much. I like to have evidence-based and have an evidence-based practice. But how do we also bring holistic in? Because holistic has evidence behind it. It's just not funded because there isn't money to be made in funding a lot of research. But when you look at things like a placebo outperforming a pharmaceutical in a research study, and everyone's like, how is that possible? It's like, well, maybe we should be researching more the placebo effect and not saying it's just a fluke, but it's a belief of getting better. And where does that lead us? Where does that lead our mentality? And when we think about eco-psychology and ecotherapy, that's been studied for years. Other cultures are way ahead of us. In Japan, doctors will prescribe forest bathing, going out in the forest, sitting there, no distractions, no phone, just taking in nature. And they know that's healing there. That is something that is prescribed. That is something that we just consider normal if we would live in that culture. Whereas here, we're not really there. And so I wanted to bring some awareness of some of these ideas and hope that that can help motivate some visualizations today. So let's even together do a short visualization about nature. Let's take a deep breath all together. Let's close our eyes. And let's just imagine where we are. Let's think about, even using the scene behind me, let's think about having the sunshine shining down, and I feel it on my skin. It feels warming and vibrant. I radiate this golden energy through my body that I get from the sun, and it's bringing me life, and it's synthesizing vitamins, and it's bringing this awareness of what's around me. And that same sun has to shine in order for my food to grow and to give me the nutrients I get from my food. And so I picture this beautiful energy that radiates in me and all around me. And I picture how healing that is. And then maybe I imagine that I'm walking down towards a stream, and I dip down and I cut my hands in the water, and I take this beautiful sip of water. And again, I picture a vibrant blue energy coursing through the water. And I just imagine that going through my body as I drink the water and sit in nature. And I realize that that energy has to exist, not just for me, for my hydration in my life, but for all of the food I eat. It needs the water and the sunshine, the interplay of those things to keep me alive, to give me nutrition, to survive. And so how wonderful that I can bask in these things and bring these things to my awareness and my surroundings. And I'm imagining that I'm in this beautiful forest and I picture it all around me, and I maybe hear the birds, or I see another animal that looks really appealing and I follow that animal down a trail and I see what beautiful nature awaits me. And I'm going to leave it open-ended for you to say, how does that make me feel? Do I feel strong and curious and I want to know more and I enjoy cultivating this energy? Where are my senses taking me? Which sense feels like it's really overpowering in a beautiful way? And which ones do I want to cultivate more as I sit here in the forest? And remember to take those deep breaths. But connecting back to the source and the fact that there is an energy underlying all of this wonderful healing we get through brain retraining in our limbic system. It's not just the cognitive and the cerebral. There's an energy and a spirit about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, awesome day full of healing, and I'll talk to you guys next time.